Hello, YouTube. What's going on? It is B. Avery here coming to you. Thanking you for joining me for another episode of Just My Opinion. I really do appreciate it. And this is not just some normal episode. We're coming to you live this Sunday, December the 27th. It's about 9:30 Central Standard Time, but it's about 10:30 Eastern Time. I got my boy Larry with Today I Feel Like. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. I was loving that intro music, man. I was ready to start just jamming to it.
we may have to schedule that sometime. Larry's a good friend of mine. I do appreciate you joining me today, sir. I did invite him because he did see Wonder Woman 1984. I believe he has a completely different opinion on the film than myself. So just want to let you guys know this is going to be a spoiler-filled review, meaning we're going to dive deep, up, down, left, right, in, and out, as if you've already seen the film. So if you have not seen
it, you're going to feel like you've seen it.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't care about being spoiled, you can join in right now, and we're going to be spoiling some things up. I got some super chats already in the mix real quick from J Love is just saying that she can't wait for this review. We can't wait to give it to you. Miss Teria Von Trail, $2.99 super chat. Thank you very much. And then we also got my brother from another mother, Mr. Lamont Tyson, with Life Gains for the super chat of $10. Thank you very much, sir. It says, take your money back for calling this movie good for Carrie being a lock and key. Well, we're definitely going to be talking about that tomorrow. And a matter of fact, what's crazy, Conjugal Carrie. I saw y'all's comments last time about that real quick, the difference in the power. So I can't wait. If you'll have me, sir, I will be joining you tomorrow for your show. But you know what sucks, man? I recorded my power recap right before this, a good 40-minute review. And I don't know if I ate something, but I had some white stuff all on my lip. And so I can't even use it.
The crackhead episode.
Yeah, man, basically. So I gotta re-record it, man. Right now we got Kamikaze 1188 saying it was a 5 out of 10.
That's what I'm talking about.
Nah, it wasn't that bad. But we're gonna go ahead and jump into this. But again, this is going to be a spoiler-filled review recap discussion. So turn away if you haven't seen the movie. Come back once you have.
If you haven't seen it, don't turn away. It's not like, we might give you some spoilers, but it's bad either way. So
no. Lamont is saying that it's a 6 or 10 at best. I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all my rating. I'm a defender of the film. First of all, let me just go ahead and say that. There are a lot of criticisms out there. Some of them I think are a bit over exaggerated. Some I think are worthy. They're well warranted, but I went in with low expectations. I saw a tweet from Sharronda. Eman was telling me that I need to lower my expectations, and I saw a few other things. So I was going in, with my expectations low. But before I get into any of that, let me just go ahead and just give y'all some movie news real quick. And hold on, before I do that, let me bring in Eman. What's going on, my brother? What's going on? How you doing, sir?
I'm all right. What's going on, fellas?
Nothing much,
man. I'm
man.
feeling out of place there. Everybody's got fresh cuts.
Man, I had to do it.
Yeah, man. I was telling the same thing. So what I was just kind of setting the tone.
Hold that thought. It's kind of dark. Let me get a light.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and let him get a light real quick. Let me see
what he has to do now. Let's check out his to-do list here. Let's see. Got you a lesson plan. We were reading your to-do list while you were up.
Oh, that's my wife. She's a teacher. I didn't feel like doing the green screen.
So this is what our boy Lamont said already. He said he's giving me my money back because for calling this movie good. Because him and Lamont, Lamont and Larry, they didn't really care for the film. He gave it a 6 out of 10 at best.
That's that. You know what? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
I gave it an 8.5.
Oh, an 8. Whoa.
I gave it an 8.5. Now I would tell y'all that my score. Yes, it's not gonna go up. It's not. But it may go down, and I will give you my new rating at the end of this. Okay, and so we got a few other people.
That's saying a lot coming from you, though, man. That's
and they called me nice.
Coming from you. That seems like a little too high.
They saying my reviews are nice.
We're gonna get into it. And just real quick, Kamikaze said it's a 5 out of 10 for them. But something real quick before we get into it, I just want to share this real quick. This is funny. Because Wonder Woman has lost its certified fresh rating. It was certified fresh, but now it has dropped to 65%. We got 289 counts, 72% audience score. And so if it goes below, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think people should, once again, a lot of people don't even know how Rotten Tomatoes works. Right?
Go ahead and explain it to us.
So Rotten Tomatoes is it's an aggregate site. So Rotten Tomatoes doesn't say anything. They don't have an opinion, right? It's only what other people think. So in this case, it's what critics think versus what audiences think. And even the score, just because something you could get like a bunch of 6 out of 10s, and a 6 out of 10 might sound bad, right? But a 6 out of 10 is fresh for Rotten Tomatoes, which means you could get all these D's and still pass, as being certified fresh or whatever. So, I think what ended up happening now was in the first crop of early critics, because there was a lot of critics that was like, man, this is amazing. This is that. And what ended up happening was, just like with the presidential election, the mail-in ballots came in. You know what I'm saying? And everybody was like, whoa. And I think this is kind of like the first iteration of what it's going to be like when it comes to, and we'll talk about this later, but what happens when you don't have that first real round of early screenings. You don't have and going to streaming, it changes things for people. I'll go into that deeper later on when we talk about it more, but a lot of factors are changing. So it didn't surprise me at all that this score was going to go down.
Same here, my brother. Same here. Larry, you want to add anything to that?
No.
Okay.
This movie is trash. It should have. It should have. I have so many strong feelings about this movie because it had all of the bones to be really good, but so much of it seemed like they were just. And I'm gonna say it. And if anybody's out there watching that was a part of this movie, I'm just hate me, fight me. It was lazy. The writing was lazy. The storytelling was lazy. The concept of this movie was lazy. And so much of it was just wanting to hit you over the head with the whole sort of politically correct girl power agenda thing that they're doing right now. I'm like, we get that. I support that. I have nieces and a mom and a wife and sisters. I support all of that. But when you hit people over the head with it, it just falls flat.
Well,
and that's the cheesy winks and all that. Come on, man.
I respect that, but wholeheartily disagree. And we're gonna talk about it. But just real quick, going back over here to this is just something on Rotten Tomatoes. This is kind of how everything else has compared to Wonder Woman in the DCEU. Birds of Prey is doing better than that, surprisingly, because I hated that film with a passion.
Wow. Really?
I couldn't stand that movie. I couldn't stand it. I thought it was horrible, in my opinion. Wasn't as bad as Suicide Squad, but we got Shazam at 90%, Aquaman 65%. This is a huge drop. First Wonder Woman was 93%.
That's a factor too, by the way.
What's that?
The fact that Wonder Woman, look, I don't know about you guys. But like when I look online and I read all the comments, whether it's on the Wonder Woman pages, whether it's on the DC pages, or just average regular people, the most common sentiment I've heard from people that have seen this is disappointment, right? Or this was disappointing. Well, in order for something to be disappointed, it means you had an expectation for something.
Right.
And I think that one of the expectations was that people were comparing this to the first Wonder Woman. And guess what? It was never going to be better. Like it was not, it was too hard for it to be equal or better than the previous Wonder Woman. In my opinion, a lot of that has to do with the fact that they broke away from the continuity and the feel and everything that basically Zack Snyder kind of brought to the table. And Patty decided to go in a different direction. I actually would disagree with Larry. I wouldn't call it lazy because she was very intentional with what she was doing, but I will call it corny. It was corny and cheesy, and it was just it was a different direction that's not going to resonate with a lot of different people. But I wouldn't call it lazy because they actually did something intentional, and it did accomplish some things, but again, we'll get into that later.
Well, hold on, because the way I'm gonna chop this up, because y'all are both saying good points that I cannot wait to get into. So let me just run through this real quick, and we can go ahead and get inside the nitty gritty. On Cinnamon score, it's a B+, and I think that's okay. You know, that's all right. What Cinema Score is people that actually stand outside of the theater and get people's grades as they're walking out. Okay. Also, we have
a real deal.
A real rating. This is deadline right here because of they're gonna go ahead and fast track Wonder Woman 3. Right now, it has made $85 million worldwide. It's kind of hard to gauge because of this pandemic. You know, I mean, it's not good, but
you know, you have to take issue with that B+ score, and I'll tell you why. Because if you in the middle of a pandemic, no matter where you are in the world, pandemic is global. If you are going to see this movie in the theater, it is because you are a hardcore fan.
Okay.
And so the likelihood that you are going to walk out of that movie liking this movie on some level is already high. It's completely biased. Fair. It's not like you're just going. It's not like it's a regular Friday, Saturday weekend where you're going to have people from all over the place going to see this movie on a regular date night or a regular Christmas day, you know, movie outgoing. No, you're not going to have that. You're only going to have the hardcores out there. And so, of course, they're going to come out and say they liked it. I mean, if they came out with the new Black Panther and it was trash and I saw it, I'm going to come out and be like, yeah, the movie's kind of dope.
But, I mean, I see what you're saying.
I'm going to lie so they make a third one.
I see what you're saying, but anybody that goes see a movie opening weekend is a diehard fan of it. You know,
that's also true too.
That's just always the case. Hey, no matter what movie is.
I've seen movies on the first day and they still been trash too.
Right.
I mean, I remember I was I waited in line for Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And those are all disappointing.
And that was for free, and I wanted my money back.
The trailers?
Huh?
Even after you saw the trailers?
Yeah. I go see every comic book movie. I mean,
I'm messing with you, man.
You know?
Now we got about 40, 45, 46 people live right now. I do appreciate all of you guys tuning in. So if I can get a like, if you can hit the like button from everybody that's in the live right now, I would really appreciate it. Also, if you like anything that these gentlemen are spitting right here, there's a link down to their channels in the description box. Or you can just come over to my channel tab and you can see the whole family right here. So hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button, and hit the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button. But guys, I got my news out of the way. So we can go ahead and get to all this spoilery goodness. Larry, he called it lazy. And he called it lazy. Now, I'll go ahead and say this. I did enjoy the film. I will defend this film. I think everybody here can agree that it was not as good as the first movie by far. I think we can all agree there. However, one of the things that did bother me in the first Wonder Woman film was the third act. It did fall apart, and I think that's the case. I think everybody agrees with that across the board. Larry,
now, according to Patty in a recent interview, she said that the WB execs at the time changed the ending.
Right, I did hear that. Right. So it could have been better.
Whatever. Count that for whatever you want.
And I will go ahead and say that I like the third act in Wonder Woman 1984 much better than the third act in the first film. For me, I was at the edge of my seat because I was like, oh my gosh, even though Maxwell Lord cannot go up against Wonder Woman in a physical fight, this chaos that he created is world ending. And I'm very curious to see how this is going to end. I was excited to see how the plan was going to play out. I'll also go ahead and say that I am glad that this did take place in 1984 as opposed to present day, because to me, this is just kind of like a filler movie / stalling for what's to come in the future in the DC cinematic universe. Because right now they don't know. They're coming out with a new director's cut of the Justice League and they're trying to flesh all that out. And if you had a present day Wonder Woman story that could, muddy the water or have them write themselves into a corner. So with this, I really didn't care what happened in 84 because it was in 84. So I liked the first film more. I still, when the credits hit with this movie right here, I was not disappointed. I was satisfied. And, even though there are some legitimate criticisms, I went in with low expectations and still had a good time. Y'all can jump in and comment wherever you like after that.
You want to take it? You want me to take it?
I mean, I'm in the middle of both of y'all. I wasn't as high as Brandon, but I wasn't as low as Larry, right? So like for me, I also went in with low expectations, right? Like I knew it was not going to be equal or better than the original Wonder Woman. So that's kind of like why I wasn't as disappointed as most people were who, went into it with higher expectations. Also, I do think that there is a psychological, factor to be considered when you're watching something that was meant to be seen on the big screen and experienced on the big screen, and you're watching it at home. And I highly doubt a lot of people have like the best top of the line surround sound, big screens, this, that, or whatever. The experience is just different. I don't want to say that the movie is like, terrible, but there's a difference. You know what I'm saying? If you watch a movie on your laptop versus on a big screen, mentally, there's a difference. I mean, you are probably more prone to go check your phone. You're probably more prone to stop it, go to the bathroom, grab a snack, and like just not connect with the movie, maybe miss parts of the plot. And of course, if the movie's already not that good, that experience at home is going to make it worse. It's just going to magnify it, right? So, for me, it was like my biggest issue with it was it had problems in terms of being too corny and cheesy and not in the right way, right? So like, let's say, for the 1980s theme, something like Stranger Things, that's cheesy, but it's in an intentional way and it works. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody sits there and eye rolls because they sing the never ending story, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, okay, we get it. It's established. It's fine. Even Shazam, that was cheesy, but in a comical way. It works with the tonality, right? Wonder Woman, a lot of these things was just like the power of truth. What?
Yeah.
Because the third act of the first movie, what did they end with? The power of love. Get the hell out of here. I don't care about that. Will you punch something? Will you punch somebody? I'm just saying, because here's the thing. Patty Jenkins, I believe, came into this idea and was like, yo, what would be dope? The theme of lying. It's relevant today. People are living in alternate realities. People want to grant you wishes from con men, in high places. And, that's a theme, right? These things work in a pitch room. But when you're actually putting them on the big screen, the execution of those themes, to me, did not work. I didn't care that they had all these big, huge, cataclysmic like events, world ending, as you said earlier, and then all of a sudden it's like conveniently just fixed when everybody just tells the truth.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. It's like really that's the solution, but I just wasn't bothered by it.
I just wanted them to go about it in a different way.
It works. I actually found the whole thing with the wishing rock and dude Maxwell Lord be saying, I want to be the Rock. The stuff. I thought that was probably the most interesting, probably the cleverest thing of this movie.
I'll agree.
And then after that, everything else just really went sort of downhill, and it was just garbage. Like the whole thing about, this is the thing with me, the whole thing about, like, I love the whole thing with Wonder Woman and being a strong, empowered female. You can kick butt, you can do all of that. But when it's so intentional, smack you in your face, trying to just, like the whole thing with them beating up the guys in the mall and then winking at the little girl, it was just so incredibly cheesy, in your face. It just seemed like super lazy writing. Like, I felt like if they really put their heart into it, they could have written in that kind of connection, that kind of bond with the women there, without having to just be cheesy about it. It was like they were lazy. It was like saying, we don't want to spend the time and effort to create that connection with our female audience, so we're just going to smack you over the head with it and then wink at you.
I agree with you.
On.
Like, that mall scene was cheesy.
I thought the mall scene was like, that's a typical John Hughes, if he were to do a superhero movie. That was the 80s right there.
That frustrated. That scene frustrated me the most.
I don't have a problem with the setting. I have a problem with how they executed it. It was just, I don't like it. I thought it was lazy. I like, when I watched Wonder Woman, the first one, I felt like they were speaking to, I mean, not that men couldn't enjoy it, because clearly I did, but I felt like they were speaking to women and young girls to be empowered, and they weren't doing it by taking a baseball bat and whacking you over the head with it and being obvious. They wrote it into the story. They didn't have it. Was like the whole winking thing is almost akin to somebody breaking character and saying, "See what I did there," and then going back into it.
I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna disagree with that only because I don't think we'd be having this conversation if Superman did that with a little boy. Like, if he rescued somebody, and Superman sat here and winked. Come on now, the Mr. Boy Scout. We're talking about Mr. Boy Scout here, okay? If he sat here and winked at a little boy after saving, a bunch of people, ain't nobody finna sit here and be like, "Oh man, Superman is being corny," because he is corny, first of all, and he's beating us over the head with male pride or whatever. It's whatever. Like, that to me was not.
I'll tell you what I have a problem with. I'll tell you what I have a problem with. If Superman came out there and like beat up some Proud Boys or something, and then looked at the camera and said, "Black Lives Matters," I would have a problem with that in the same way. I'd be like, "Come on, people, come on."
Okay, you know what I will compare as, this is my standard. This is my standard for what you're talking about. The cheesy, like, over the top, pushing it all in your face. What happened in Endgame with the all-girl moment, that was over the top, stupid, lazy writing, right? That was it. Now, they did it better in Infinity War when Okoye and Black Widow and Scarlet Witch were fighting together, and they just so happened to have an all-girl moment.
Right.
But I can't put what happened in Wonder Woman on the same level of that all-girl moment in Endgame. I can't. To me, it's not the same thing.
Here's the other thing I had an issue with. This is that of all the things in the world, I mean, she's been away from Steve Trevor for what now, 60 years, 50 years. He died in what, 1918 or something like that, and this is 84. So I mean, it's been decades after decade after decade. They went through another world war, through Vietnam and everything else, Korea. They've been all kinds of stuff, the Cold War, and now all this time, and she couldn't find her way to another love interest or no love interest. The one thing that she wishes for is a guy. Is to bring this guy back. I mean, anybody
just some guy.
We should have that's the Bechdel test. Did anybody think of that?
Love.
Come on, man.
I'm cool with that.
It's her first love. It's literally the first man she's ever seen. She's also a demigoddess, so she lives clearly longer, and the time in Themyscira does not work the same, obviously, as it does everywhere else. I didn't have a problem with it and the reason why I don't have a problem with it, even though I do kind of have a problem with this other issue, is the fact that magic, it's the ultimate plot device used in this entire movie. Anything can be explained away because she's a demigoddess or because of magic. So,
and I thought that worked. I thought it worked.
Cheesy and lazy. All they can come up with is to bring back this dude. I mean, seriously, you have a female hero, all you can do is pair her up with a man.
What else does she want, man? I mean, she's like Eman said, she's a demigod. She has all this power. She's intelligent. She read all the books, you know, because we found out in that boat ride. I thought the Steve Trevor bringing him back was the best thing in the whole movie. Even though I wanted an action movie and this would be more of like a romantic comedy, I thought it worked. I really did enjoy their relationship. I felt the pain that she had in her heart when she had to let him go towards the end of the movie. You know, when she was saying, okay,
an emotional connection, she was just like, okay, I know I have to leave. And then she just turned around. It was really good. It was really good acting when Steve Trevor showed up at the apartment and he was looking at the photo, then picked up the watch and then looked outside the window and saw all the chaos. And he was like, you know, Diana, we have to talk about this. She was like, I don't want to talk about this, Steve. I don't want to talk about it. I felt her pain and emotion. And, you know, since like World War I, for 50, 60 years, all the way up to the 80s, she's been sacrificing herself, you know, stopping petty crimes. And the only thing she wants was her first love. I mean, that's not selfish. She was strong. She's a demigod, and she was ready to give up her strength. She was ready to sacrifice that just so she can fall in love and die an old woman, because she wouldn't have the longevity of life anymore. She was willing to give it up, the strength and all that, just for her first love. So to me, that was one of the best parts of the movie. Why stopping petty crimes? Why she's a demigod, like you say?
Because
she's a superhero.
Great power comes with great responsibility.
Shoplifters in the mall
because great power comes with great responsibility. You know the quote. Come on.
We see Batman, who's human, taking down the worst of supervillains. Superman's taking down everything, and she's running around taking down shoplifters.
I mean, there ain't nobody.
Something better to do.
That's why it was in the 80s. That's why I'm happy with that. You know what I said earlier. You know, but let me ask y'all this: how did you feel about the beginning with them mascara? Because that scene was actually shot with IMAX cameras.
I think that's always the best part. That's the best part in the first Wonder Woman. Also, like I like seeing everything in Themyscira. Honestly, I was kind of hoping they would focus a little bit more on that in a sequel. Because you know the one thing that Wonder Woman 1 and 2 did extremely well is, and this is why I called it an exceptional sequel, is because it progressed the character of Diana. And that is essentially what you want in any sequel. Now, that doesn't mean that all the other things were done right. I'm just speaking specifically to her character and her character development. And every time we got like a flashback, we, the audience, learned whatever life lesson she learned. And we also got to see how those life lessons shaped how she operates and thinks in present time. So I like the fact that they did that type of connection in both films. And again, it was like the best part for me. But yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, like they progress her character and she becomes the type of hero that I would say is what Superman should be like. He should be flawed. He should have like challenges. He should overcome them. And then on top of that, be relatable to us and still be the beacon of hope for an inspiration for everybody else. And if you take all the cheesiness and corny stuff out of this movie, they did that with her character. And a lot of that has to do with the flash.
So here we go. So, Eman, this is what I think would have made this movie awesome, right? If they would have gone, they could have started at the mascara, showed her going through as the young Diana going through her thing, go back to her in 1984, the current time we were in. And when she makes her wish, I thought should have been that she could go back to the mascara, because when she left, they told her you can't come back. So she would have wished she can go back to her mother, back to her homeland, and she goes back to the mascara. And when she does, she's back there. She's happy to be home. She's embraced. Everybody's showing her love. It's glorious for her. And then she starts to see, she's able to see what's going on in the rest of the world, and she realizes that with Max Lord, the world is falling apart and they need her. And now she has to decide, will she accept this journey to go back into the world of man and be the superhero that she can be, that she is? And is she willing to leave her home to do that? That would have made the movie awesome.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yeah, I can't, Now,
instead they gave her a man.
I'm not mad at it, man. I'm not mad at it. But let's talk about these. Let's talk about these villains.
How many superheroes do we see where men superheroes where they have to give them a woman? A woman in the male superhero world is sort of she's just a little side piece, something that's not necessary to the story.
Iris West?
They're not necessary to the story. They're nice to have there, but they're not necessary.
Lois Lane ain't necessary. Superman turned the whole world back in time for a woman.
Yeah, but
come on, man. What are you talking about?
But she's not necessary.
Okay.
They could have had her. They could have had him kill a little kid and he was traumatized and turn the world back for the same reason. She's not necessary. She's nice to have there, but she's not necessary.
In respect to the comics, Steve Trevor has always been the co-pilot. He was Lois Lane for Wonder Woman. Since Superman had Lois Lane and Wonder Woman is a female copy of Superman, she has Steve Trevor.
Now, WTDS Channel 13 News says the opening scene had nothing to do with the whole movie. Please note that. I've heard that criticism.
That was a whole life lesson taught.
Yeah.
Don't take the shortcut. The shortcut was making a wish for what you want rather than dealing with the real path of life and reality. That was the point.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I couldn't have said it. So thank you, sir. But I want to ask y'all, how do y'all feel about these villains? And first, we're going to bring up Cheetah as Kristen Wiig. Kristen Wiig as Cheetah.
What villain?
Hey, I liked it. I liked it. This villain right here, sir. This one. Let me get you another picture. This one right here.
They spent about 30 seconds of screen time trying to establish some sort of anything between those two.
It worked for me. People are comparing her to Jamie Foxx and Electro and Enigma, the Riddler and the Batman v Robin days, just saying that they're obsessed with the hero and then turn. Look, all she wanted was some strength, and she ended up getting it. I mean, it was simple. If you want to call it lazy writing, Larry, okay, that's fine, but it works. Sometimes the simplicity in the story can work, and for me, it worked. The whole thing worked for me. Other than maybe at the end, her actually turning into a cheetah.
That part made no sense to me.
Yeah, I give you that.
She wishes to be this apex predator that nobody else has ever seen. You know how many
apex predators there are? Right. And I'm sitting here like, where did the cheetah? Like, y'all didn't even bridge the cheetah connection. Y'all just made her cheetah. And on top of that, we didn't see like the actual connection, or I'm sorry, the transformation.
Their own ecosphere.
Huh?
The cheetahs aren't even the king of anything. They're just,
what I'm saying. Like, if you don't say something, at least establish early on, maybe she has an affinity for cheetahs, or just something to help us be like, oh, that's why you look like this. But at the same time, here's the other thing: she cheated. She got two wishes. How'd she get two wishes?
Hey,
no man. She cheated.
She cheated. That's
cheated. They made a whole point. Maxwell made a whole point of he could only grant one wish. The stone could only grant one wish.
And he's the stone now, so he can do whatever he wants to do.
Cheated.
So here's the thing with this. I feel like
Cheetah cheated.
I feel like when you have your villain, there has to be some connection between the villain and your superhero. And there was no real connection. It was simply like they worked together at the Smithsonian. And Minerva wished that she could be like Diana. She had no idea what that meant. She just wished that she could be like Diana. And then when she got her wish, she ended up with all these super strengths and whatever else. But there was no real connection between those two so that you cared about their boss battle when it finally came. And then when you finally got the boss battle, it wasn't really even a boss battle because the entire time, Diana's trying not to kill her. She's trying not to hurt her. I mean,
I'm not mad at that.
That's like my little cousin or somebody getting mad at me and throwing punches, and I'm basically just tossing them to the left and to the right, trying not to hurt them.
Yeah.
I mean, it was silly.
I can't get mad at you for that, man.
No, I think you're right, because if you watch the animated movie, Wonder Woman Bloodlines, I think it is, they did a better job in establishing the fact that Minerva and Diana were friends, and they had and Minerva blames Wonder Woman for all this stuff. Like, there's some real animosity and stuff there, and that tension, I was hoping they would bring that to the table. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of one-sided. It was just, I want to be you, and that was it. So,
and I got some extra benefits when my wish was granted. I wasn't expecting all this.
Well,
I mean, come on. Hey. That's why I say it was lazy. They didn't spend any time with character development between the two of them. If you have this big boss battle coming, that's supposed to be your big villain. Why did you not establish something between them? A reason for one of them not to like the other or something. There was nothing there. It was like, here you have these two that work together. They seem to be friends. Diana saves her friend from basically getting raped over on the National Mall. And I mean, it's just like, and then all of a sudden the chick just hates her.
Well, I don't think she hated her. You bring up some valid points. I can't argue with those. There was no connection. It was one-sided, like y'all said, but she didn't hate her. She was just trying to stop Wonder Woman from taking her powers away. Yeah. That was her only motivation. It wasn't like you wasn't my friend. It wasn't like that. It was just like, no, look, it's like, you're not the only one to lose. I've never had power like this before. It feels good. Yeah. All I want to do is keep my power. So I'm just stopping you from stopping him. So
because that messes me up.
Yeah, I'll meet you halfway with that. But
that is how it went down, but I don't think that was meaningful.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like, it just felt superficial. It's just this superficial jealousy.
Even Maxwell Lord's motivations were weak.
Yeah, I mean,
let's go there real quick, because that was the next thing I was gonna bring up. So go ahead with your boy Max. That's not Max. Where's Max? There's Max right here. Talk about Max.
His motivations were weak. I mean, what? He wanted to be rich. He wanted to make his son proud. I mean, you're willing to. I mean, a lot of people want to be rich and make their kids proud. Are they willing to tear down all of society for it?
That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, a ton of people want to impress their son. Like children, all they want is, like, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be present, and a lot of people, I mean, come on now, everybody in the world wants money and power. Everybody wants oil. So that was completely relatable to me and realistic. He just didn't know the damage that he was doing,
Yeah, I mean, both of y'all. I think both of y'all have.
I think he understood exactly what kind of damage he was doing. The whole thing about becoming the stone was because he thought this through. He knew what he was doing. I just don't buy that someone wants to go through all that to try and make their kid proud. You want to make your kid proud? I mean, wish to become that kid, whatever that kid loves. Become the next Babe Ruth. Become the next, Air Jordan or whatever. Well, it was 84. He was barely Air Jordan yet. But
it wasn't just that though. Keep in mind, he also had childhood trauma himself.
Exactly.
Like he had been, bullied and teased or whatever, and so he had his own personal issues, and he didn't want his son to go through basically what he went through, or he didn't want his son to view him the way that all these other people that put him down, like that investor that was like, you're a loser, you're a con man, and all this stuff. That's where he started to get triggered. Now, I agree though with Larry in the sense that I don't think that they executed that well enough, right? I think a lot of these things were great on paper, but to actually communicate it so that it's believable, that's where it got a little stretchy. It got a little thin. I knew it was there conceptually, but did I really gravitate with him and his motivations? Because to me, I look at somebody like Killmonger. Your boy Larry, Killmonger.
The true and righteous ruler of Wakanda.
Whatever, man. But when you look at like a villain, the thing is, you don't have to agree with them. But if you at least understand their motivations and be like, you know what? I at least know where he's coming from. You know, I can look at Thanos and be like, man, I don't agree with killing half of the planets and people, but I understand where he's coming from because of what happened to his situation and all of that. I don't think
Thanos
they
was just
built
an
that
environmentalist.
connection. Huh?
But Thanos was just an environmentalist. He was out there trying to save worlds. He was trying to preserve. He was trying to preserve worlds for the long term.
Right. And Killmonger was a libertarian. He was just trying to liberate people. That's
right.
Killmonger,
Jimmy agrees with you.
He was trying to liberate people, and he was the. Well, I will say this: DC did what DC does. Yeah. DC this movie. I mean, let's just be real. DC makes fantastic animated superhero movies. Ooh, they're awesome. They make great villain movies as well. But what they don't do is make good live action superhero movies. Marvel does that. So and Marvel makes garbage animated movies. So
that is true. That is true.
They do struggle there.
Iron Man versus Hulk.
Oh.
What they should do is just swap teams for a little bit. Just bring
it over. I've been saying that for the longest. I'm like, why are y'all not giving the animation team just live action actors? Because y'all clearly like you don't have the restrictions that Marvel had where you couldn't use certain characters. Right. Y'all got the whole playbook. You can do whatever you need to do. And I'm sitting here like, I don't understand how the live action team keeps getting it wrong. Now, they have had some successes personally. I think the best one that hit on all different sides was probably Shazam. I'm not saying it was like the best thing ever, but in terms of finding the right character, the right tone, the right story, it was pretty comic book accurate also. They did a good job with that. Aquaman, that was like just all over the place. They literally threw everything at us in that case. And I don't know. Like, I have no idea what this means for the future of DC. But the one thing I will say that I think is problematic, again, is the fact that this movie, Patty, she disregarded everything that happened with the Snyder universe, you know, everything that Snyder established. So, because the whole time I'm sitting here watching this, I'm like, wait a minute.
I disagree.
No. I'm like, wait, how did she become this reclusive person in Batman v Superman? But yeah, she's just out and about and she's just doing her thing and she's taking pictures with people. I'm like, I thought she was undercover, unknown to the world, and didn't want to help mankind, didn't want to get involved. But now she's like, well, I'm here. What's up?
No. Hold on. Let me grab it because I was gonna say that. I actually had that written down about how there can be retconning that. So I'll give you that for Batman v Superman. But as far as Justice League is concerned, that whole thing is being rewritten. So I'm thinking and hoping that some of the consequences or decisions that was made in Wonder Woman 84 come back into fruition for the new Justice League, since it's going to be you're shaking your head.
Patty said in an interview that she threw out everything about Snyder the same way audiences did. Those were her words.
Snyder can use her work though to impact Justice League.
He's already that movie or episodes or whatever it's gonna be. It's already done. And even Gal Gadot, when she was doing her interview, she was like, because one thing that was asked to her was like, yo, how does what happens with Wonder Woman in 84 connect with Justice League? And she was like, I don't know. I didn't do any reshoots.
I'll come back to that because I want to make another point. But Larry, go ahead. You was gonna say something, sir.
I don't remember what I was gonna say now, but I'll tell you what they should do. If they want to make the next Wonder Woman good, they should bring in what's his name from Guardians. They should bring in what's his name, James Gunn. Mm-hmm. Bring him in. That dude will freak that movie out, make it fun. It'll be a bit grittier. It'll be comic. And people may have to tone them down a little bit because, you still want little 12-year-old girls to watch it. But, I mean, people will love that.
I think even though it's controversial now, if he didn't have all this other mess going on, I would have brought in Joss Whedon. I mean,
they need to bring in somebody.
This is the Buffy the Vampire Slayer guy. Like he has experience, working with female lead heroes. He could have been good, but now he's all jacked up now.
Now here's another thing that would have made this movie fantastic. If at the point when Wonder Woman looked like she was about to just lose, when she was just getting taxed out, if right in that moment Nubia would have showed up If Nubia would have showed up and saved her and those two would have fought together, then we could have had a nice lead in to the third movie with her and Nubia. And even though this movie was garbage, people would have been excited to see the next one because they would have been like, we're going to get Wonder Woman and her sister. But they couldn't do that.
That would have been
would have been a dope post-credit scene.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
The post-credit scene they gave us, I mean, I love me some Linda Carter and the old Wonder Woman, but that was just corny. I mean, come on. They couldn't have done more for her. She was the first Wonder Woman. They couldn't do more for her than catching a little thing, catching a pole. Oh, it was just a shift of weight. Come on, man. Do people right.
I'm not the
biggest. That was disrespectful. It was so bad.
I'm not the biggest Linda Carter fan, so it really didn't do me, any harm. But is this what you're talking about right here, sir?
Nubia.
Her sister?
Yeah.
Okay. I gotta read up on her, but I want to ask y'all this. How did y'all feel about this right here? I liked it overall, the invisibility scene. Initially, I was turned off because I was like, wait a minute. Okay, if you're saying that Zeus made Themyscira invisible, and then you learn how to do it yourself, but you made a mug invisible, and then you can't find it, now you're making a plan. I'm like, why didn't you use the same ability in BVS or Justice League? But I thought about it, and I liked it because she said that she does not know how to turn it off. So she can't just be going around making herself invisible or other things if she doesn't know how to turn it off, because it could be permanent. But I kind of like what they did with the invisibility as far as the jets and her kind of, putting that together. How do y'all feel about that?
I mean, it was fan service.
No, fan service. I'll tell you one thing that's wrong with this.
Okay,
is that I get being in a jet because what's his name can't fly, but she can. Why does she need a jet?
She didn't know how to fly yet.
Right, man. I was going to bring it up. She didn't know how to fly until later on in the movie.
I do have a problem with that, but she didn't know how to fly at that time.
She was flying in the first Wonder Woman when she was fighting Ares.
She was jumping high.
She was leaping.
Yeah.
She couldn't fly back then.
But go ahead and talk about
it. Seemed like flying as long as she was in the air.
Well, I do have it in my notes. If you want to grab it, Eman. How do you feel about the flying?
Look, the flying. A lot of these things were, in my mind, Patty Jenkins being like, "Yo, I want to put in some comic book references for the old school fans," and it was cool. But I don't think that they were integrated into the movie in a practical, authentic way. I mean, for example, her learning how to fly or just automatically flying, to me, there was nothing there. It just happened. I mean, it's like, even though I didn't like it when it happened in Captain Marvel, at least in Captain Marvel, she was falling to her death. And I don't know, maybe, the excitement or the danger or the fear triggered her powers and boom, she started flying. But in this movie, it was kind of like, you just did it because you can? Like,
well,
why?
I look
and on top of that, you sitting here lassoing on lightning. Like,
I looked at it like she got a big power up, She lost her power. Why? And then she was like, I renounce my wish. And that she got that power boost. It was like a sensu bean from Dragon Ball Z. She just no.
Here's the other thing, right? Now we've seen how Gal Gadot looks. This chick is bad gets. She's a former model. She is blazing. She meets that dude at the end of the movie, the one that Steve Trevor was put into. She sees him. She compliments his outfit. They're giving each other eyes, and he's like, "Okay, nice seeing you," and walks off. Like, that dude wouldn't have hollered at her. Like, he wouldn't have been like, "Hey, let me get your number. Let's have coffee." He's just going to be like, "Oh, there's a beautiful model that's complimenting me, and I'm just going to say thanks and walk away."
I'll give you that. Come
on, man.
I'll give you that. I didn't think about that. But, just knowing how men are, unless she was already married or something. But about that, something that did not make sense, because like I said earlier, I did enjoy the whole Steve Trevor coming back. But this does not make any sense because I saw this in somebody else's review. He was a real person. And when Steve Trevor came back, they plucked him out of his own life. So did he not have to go to work the next day? What happened to his family members?
And they gave us a corny-ass dressing room montage.
Seriously, if something did not make sense,
dress-up montage. Come on, man.
Did not make sense, it's because of magic. You know, I mean, the one thing that did, I guess,
what magic had to do with a dressing room montage?
Nothing. That was the 80s. That was just 80s for you.
The montage
with the gender swap.
She said maybe it was in a relationship.
You know, the one thing that I do recall is that whatever people wish for, especially in Wonder Woman's case, it was always whatever you think, right? Because like that was the power of the deception god or whoever, you know, that made the stone or whatever. They would tell you whatever you want to hear, and you would see whatever you want to see. So in a sense, the magic part was the fact that like this guy, I guess, was possessed, but everything that he was saying was really coming out of Diana's head. If you really think about it, everything that he was saying. So even when he got to the point where he was like, you know, I really shouldn't be here, that's Diana saying that. You know what I'm saying? So like all these different things are what Diana wished for and what her desires are. And as she starts to realize the consequences of her wish, that's when you start to see Steve change his tone. Again, that's Diana's subconscious changing and realizing, man, this really shouldn't be the way it is. So it's a real Jedi mind trick, I guess, in a sense.
Now, B. Avery, here's another thing I took issue with this movie. They intentionally set it in DC. They have it with the Smithsonian. They set it in DC. And then that was it. They didn't utilize DC for anything, really. It was just a backdrop.
The White House?
What could they have done?
I mean, they didn't really do much with that.
The White House.
They had to go visit the president for like 10 seconds. I mean, that was it.
I don't know, man.
They had to get Max needed.
You have all that.
He wanted that secret thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
they didn't exactly. You know, they didn't do anything with it really.
I forgot what that's called, but
that's the Lincoln Memorial.
Right. Yeah. There you go.
And they just used it as a backdrop. They didn't integrate it into the story.
Well, sir, I was gonna say that was another topic. I like the action scene at the White House with the lasso of truth. So I mean,
but see, that was the thing. That action scene could have been anywhere. It wasn't unique to the White House.
How was it not unique
anywhere?
Even though it's in the White House?
Right, what are you talking about?
But it wasn't unique to the White House.
How would it be unique to? I don't even understand what that means. Like, I don't. Do you want them to like lasso the president's statue's head or something? Like, what are you talking about?
If they would have had that battle in the Oval Office, maybe. Or if they would have had that battle in at the Lincoln Memorial and they were tearing up the Lincoln or something like that. Maybe if there were people, maybe she was.
Larry, why do you hate America? Why do you hate America?
Come on, man. You're going to have people hating on me.
Larry just don't like the movie, LOL. That is all, LOL. You know.
Yeah, I'll say this, though, about the action. And I do think that this is where Zack Snyder's presence is missed, because he did have some influence, you know, as a producer on the first Wonder Woman. I thought that some of the action sets could have used a different choreography team. Some of them felt a little too some of them felt a little too staged, because if you look at the action sets in Wonder Woman in the first one, they felt organic, they felt authentic, they felt practical. Like you walked into a situation and then she was kicking butt. And the way that they utilized the slow motion and everything in the first movie, way better than they did in the second one. So to me, that the cinematography, the choreography, it felt a little too staged, especially when you see stuff like people waiting to get beat up. That's when you know it's messed up.
I didn't see none of that, man. And that's when
watch it again.
I'll watch it again.
Here's another problem I had.
Hold on. I gotta reply there. I know the action was not as good as the first film, but I thought, how was it not organic? I mean, when you have this scene right here, she's chasing them, trying to stop the stone. She's weakened. She can't do everything that she's trained to do because she's in a weakened state. I don't know what else you wanted. I thought it was
spotty.
When she flipped up the thing and it was going slow mo.
Black Panther move.
That was badass.
Was it?
I mean, yeah, to me it was. I was satisfied. She had the thing on her feet. She was under there. There was empty in the magazines. You know, all of the bodyguards was kind of brain dead, like zombies.
I mean, I've seen it before. It just to me, it just wasn't impressive. You know, like we literally saw a similar car chase scene in Black Panther. You know, flipping off of a car and everything in the air. I like
this one. I like this one a bit. I mean, what she was doing with this lasso was badass. Like,
I do like the lasso.
The last, yeah, I
like that. I did like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, just that. Now the action here was kind of stupid, like we talked about at the very beginning. Cheesy. But you know, I mean, this was somewhat action. That was dope as hell.
That was good.
This fight could have been better choreographed. Okay, I'll give you that.
Was decent. I was okay with that. I was more impressed at the fact that they didn't screw up the CGI as bad as they did in the first movie in the third act. So, you know, it was a good idea to put it at night to kind of cover some of that up.
Yeah.
But, you know.
In my title for my review, I put Wonder Woman 1984 movie review. That lasso of truth was serious because that was badass to me. The lasso of truth.
They highlighted that more. It was good.
So here's an issue I have is with her costume. Normally, she, you know, it's a sexy costume. Obviously, it's traditional to the old school one. But in the first movie and in Justice League, they always kept it classy. In this one, there were a couple of scenes where we were seeing booty meat. If you notice that scene where Steve Trevor was walking and holding her up because she was getting all weakened, booty meat. They intentionally showed her from behind with her thing up and seeing all of her butt. I'm thinking to myself, I don't necessarily want little 10-year-old girls seeing that and thinking that's what they need to be. That's what they need to go is out into the street showing booty meat.
Now earlier you talked about how hot she was. Now you're complaining about the booty meat. I don't remember seeing any booty meat.
You could be hot without showing booty meat because I think Wonder Woman is supposed to be something more. She's not supposed. She's beautiful, but she's not supposed to be sexualized. And
okay,
when you start showing booty meat, you're sexualizing her, and I have a problem with that.
So No Whom 100 said, "Yeah, put on some pants."
No, you don't have to put on pants. Just do it like you've done before, where you always are on the edge. You can never see. Like you always may feel like you're getting close to seeing something, but you never see it. And in this one, we were seeing it.
Okay. Well, I don't know,
go
man.
Back and check that scene where Steve Trevor was holding her up after she was up there all weekend, and he's holding her up and walking her off to the, walking her out of the street, and you'll see they cut to the back. And booty meat.
I'll have to go check that out real quick. Now we got 100. We got 126. I don't know if you did it on purpose, man, but we can't see you.
No, I did. I had to change locations.
All good, all good. Now I just want to make sure.
I heard all the booty meat comments.
Okay, cool. Now we got 125.
Gal Gadot and booty meat don't go together.
They really don't. That's why I'm sitting there like, what did you see?
Yeah, so
I remember in Fast and the Furious when she was in the bikini. I was like, that's the last thing.
Jackie V. Meadows says, I never noticed the booty meat. I didn't
never saw it either.
Yeah. Gal Gadot and booty meat don't go together.
I didn't diss booty. DJ Bullet says I was making sense.
You sure you didn't just see a leg or something?
Booty meat. I like booty meat, but I don't think Wonder Woman needs to be showing booty meat because when you have these 9, 10, and 11-year-old girls that are looking at her as a superheroes, she can be classy and sexy. She can wear the bustier and all that. She can have the short skirt on, but she needs to not show the booty. It's okay to be sexy, not sexual. Not when you're a superhero.
I kind of feel like you're trolling them, but
I feel like
I'm telling you, man, go check it. I didn't like seeing Wonder Woman booty meat. I like it.
No, what happened? Lamont texted him. He texted him, "Hey, Larry, mess with him real quick. F with him. Talk about booty meat." He's trying to get back at me for the locks and key comment the other day. No,
conjugal carry.
we got 120 people in the live right now, guys. I appreciate it. If I can get 121 likes, that would really help out this algorithm. Push this out real quick.
Jay Smith says, "Who's the lady at the end of the credits?"
That is the original Wonder Woman, Linda Carter. Linda Carter.
That was the one I grew up on.
AKA Asteria. That was a lady who originally wore that golden armor. So they were trying to pay her props in the movie, but also, you know, in real life.
Right on.
She wore that armor and didn't even. I mean, that armor got tore up in like 2 seconds.
Hey man, she was going against Cheetah. She was going against herself.
She's going against the apex predator. You know, a cheetah would take down a hawk thing. I don't know what that is.
Exactly.
Well, we talked about the villains. We talked about the action.
Wait, what villains?
Hard.
You know, DC likes to do this whole formula where you have a human, like a human villain, like Lex Luthor, and then like a super villain, you know, like whoever else they want to pick, you know. But they like to do that same formula, and it just didn't work here because the super villain just wasn't that super.
Well,
I mean,
that's
you know
what made it good to me. That's what made it good to me. It was simple, you know.
That's not a bad point, only because whenever you go into these superhero movies, these comic book movies, I think there is a built-in expectation that you want to see this powerful superhero go against a viable threat, and usually that threat is going to be someone equal or stronger than them in some way, shape, or form. And you know, look, I see in the comments somebody asked about the minimal fights between Wonder Woman and Cheetah.
Who said that?
In the Batloop gaming, I agree. Like, I didn't like it. I didn't like the fact that we only got one real confrontation, you know, between the two. Like, you could have even gone formulaic and just been like, boom, Cheetah got her powers, whooped the mess out of Wonder Woman, and then, you know, she licks her wounds, she gets back, she figures out how to defeat her in a different way, and, you know, we see some, or maybe we even see Cheetah's speed, you know, because that's usually like her biggest highlight. Use her speed and agility against Wonder Woman's brunt strength and see how that, you know, works itself out. But we only got like a little bit of it, and I think that was a missed opportunity from the film.
And let me ask y'all this about that right there. Do y'all think that Cheetah renounced her wish at the end? Because I don't think I remember her renouncing her wish.
She didn't.
I thought she did.
She did?
I want to say she did. She was like all in tears.
I don't think she did.
I think she was, when it was the whole call for everyone to tell the truth and stuff, and she was just like, "Oh, okay."
Now, are we sure that everybody in the world renounced their wish though? Because it could be some wishes still granted. The only reason I said that is because if Kristen Wiig did not renounce her wish, she can still come back in sequels and be as powerful to face Wonder Woman again. Because I was disappointed. Like, okay, I don't. If we don't see Cheetah again anymore in the DC cinematic universe, I will be disappointed.
No, I'm more than positive that she renounced it, because I remember when I saw it, I was mad because I was like, so where's Cheetah? Like, so she's just gone? Like, we're not getting her back?
Right. I didn't see her renounce that wish. I don't think she did, man. I don't recall her doing it.
It was quick. It was in the whole montage of everybody, you know, feeling guilty, and she quickly did it.
I'm gonna have to watch that again, because you're gonna force me to go suffer through that again, man.
It wasn't that bad. My goodness.
I didn't see her renounce it. I don't think she did, but if I don't see Cheetah again, I'm not gonna be disappointed, because the way they did Cheetah, there's nothing to miss.
Well, DJ Bullet has a question for you. He wants to know, did you see the booty meat at home on HBO Max or in the theater 3D IMAX? How did you see the booty meat?
It was at home. It was at home.
Okay.
You know?
I just had to mess with you real quick.
But I'm telling you, go back and watch. You'll see that scene, what I'm talking about. There's booty meat in there, and there should never be Wonder Woman booty meat. You should not see that.
I'm gonna go look for it. I'm gonna go look for it. I think the fight scenes were light because they just met, and maybe the director wanted to save the epic fights in the next movie. There's no way Cheetah is done, you know. I hope she's not done. You know,
you may not even get a next movie if you don't have a big bomb movie.
It's already greenlit.
Yeah. Remember
that? Literally just talked about Wonder Woman 3 is happening.
Yeah.
No, I understand that now, but what I'm saying is, when you're making a movie, you don't know if you're gonna get another movie, so you put it all in there.
I think she knew. I think she knew. Like, I think that was part of her contract. And was just like,
so she was just like,
No.
I'm gonna go ahead and make this one garbage because I know I'm getting another one.
No,
I think that's all. I think it's actually more from WB because they just, and go check out, Brandon's previous episodes where we talked about the big announcement of all the movies dropping on HBO Max. One of the repercussions of that is a lot of filmmakers are not messing with WB right now. And I think WB is like, you know what we gonna do? We gonna secure the people that, we can. So Christopher Nolan, Patty Jenkins, don't be surprised if they try to hold on to them by giving them more movies in the future.
Oh my
they,
God,
they
Christopher
burned
Nolan, what is he
bridges.
gonna do? What's he gonna do? Sit around and boohoo because he has to have his movie watched on an iPhone and not on the big screen on an IMAX? Instead, he's gonna want, unless Christopher Nolan is gonna pay for everyone to get a COVID vaccine early. I don't want to hear anything about him.
Man, he has a legitimate complaint. And about that, I may have y'all back for round 2 of that discussion called Battle Royale. It is Christopher Nolan in the world versus all of Warner Media. I can't let these thumbnails go to waste after I made them.
I want my movie shown on TV. I want my movie shown on the IMAX. My movie's supposed to be on the big screen. I don't care if people die. I don't care if people get sick. I don't care if we're in the middle of a pandemic. Where? Come on, man.
Hey, I can't argue with that. Come
on. If it was some other time, if it was some other thing where it was just like he was upset because they were trying to put him on small screens instead of IMAX screens everywhere, maybe I get that. But we're in the middle of a pandemic, son. Come on. If you put your movie where people can see it. Either that or hold it. Just simply hold it.
Well, I'm not mad at that, Larry, and we are coming up at the hour mark.
Oh, hold on. So, at the 2:20 mark, because I did want to see if she actually renounced it. She never said anything. Minerva. So I'm watching it right now. She never said it, but the thing is, she did turn back normal. You see what I'm saying? So like, okay. She's, unless she has the ability to transform and not transform, I guess maybe that'd be the only loophole. But right now we see her go back to looking normal.
Right.
So that's why I assumed she renounced her wish. But technically she didn't say anything.
I also think that could be due to the she got electrocuted. Maybe that helped her go back as well. I don't know. Maybe
that's the thing. Like if you tell me that she can turn it on and off, then maybe she could still be Cheetah. But if it's only a one-time thing, because I don't even think she can transform in the comics. Like I think once she's Cheetah, like she's Cheetah.
I don't even know the origin story in the comics. Well, I was going to ask you real quick though. Either one of y'all, didn't Patty Jenkins, before this Wonder Woman 3 was fast tracked, didn't Patty Jenkins already say that she wanted to do the another prequel, just focusing on the Amazonians and Themyscira before
the series?
Yeah,
that would be dope. Ken Poon said, "I saw the booty meat. Agreed with Larry." Somebody put it in there.
Who said that?
See, you guys were thinking I was crazy.
I'm gonna go look for the booty meat. I am. I would like for her to take on the series or another show about Themyscira before Wonder Woman 3.
I think that'd be better for her reputation too, to be
honest.
Because this right now is kind of putting a sour taste in people's mouths. And I think the way she approaches stories works better in a series format than in a blockbuster format, because I think she missed a lot of things that audiences would have wanted because she was too focused on like the conceptual metaphorical stuff, the power of truth and the problem of lies and deception, and it's like, people don't really go to these movies for those type of intellectual experiences. Like, I want to see the superhero save the day and do this. I'm not trying to get that abstract with it,
That is very true, but then again, a lot of people may not want the same comic book movie over and over again. You're not
Absolutely.
wrong.
I'll give Patty Jenkins credit for this. She is taking responsibility for her garbage, unlike what's her name, Elizabeth Banks. You know, Elizabeth Banks with her Charlie's Angels. This is just sexism. No, you made a garbage movie, and that's all it is.
That now I have to say that, but that Charlie's Angels movie was good though. I will defend that to the day I die. It looked horrible, I will admit, but I actually saw it in theaters. No, I actually saw it. Have you seen the movie? Have you seen it?
I have seen it.
It was actually good. Eman, have you seen it?
Come on, man.
No, I had zero interest in watching that.
Same,
I'm about to call your black review agency and pull your card, man.
It was actually good, man. It was actually pretty decent, man. Seriously, you know. But anyway, Larry,
you also gave this movie an 8.5, though.
Hold on, we're gonna get there. We're coming up to the end. You know what? You're right. No, that's okay. That's all right. That's all right. Larry, do you have any final thoughts, sir? And you can change your rating or the same thing. What are your final thoughts on Wonder Woman 1984? Spoiler open discussion. Go ahead. What are your final thoughts?
I watched this movie with my 12-year-old niece, and she seemed to enjoy it for the most part. I don't think that she was as into it as she was the first one, because at some point during this movie, she got up and was asking if we want to play a game, and so it wasn't sticky. You know, like the other Wonder Woman, I can put the first Wonder Woman on, and she will watch that movie without blinking. You could talk to her and tap her on the shoulder, offer her, you know, the universe, and she won't even hear you until that movie's over. This one, about halfway through, she was asking us if we want to play a new game she got for Christmas. So, yeah, I think she enjoyed it, but it wasn't that good. And I think when you have 12-year-old girls that are not into it like that, I think that says everything about it.
Okay, and before I pass it to Eman, I just have to know this. Out of all, I mean, did you at least like it better than Man of Steel, Suicide Squad, BVS, Justice League? You know, what would
one of the best movies out there? That's one of DC's only good movies.
Wait, what?
Oh my God!
DC's only good
what did you say? Which one?
Suicide Squad.
Oh my God,
Larry, don't do that to yourself.
Oh my
Come
God!
on, there are people here. Don't do that to yourself.
It was incredible.
Suicide Squad was the worst DC movie that they've put out. Stop it. Don't do that to yourself.
No. Straight trash.
Larry, you had all these fans with the booty man. Now you just lost everybody.
He was in there. He was like, you know, he had some good points.
Bro.
You know, making a good argument for everything. And then you had the end
of it.
Man, Harley Quinn. Deadshot. Come on, man.
I mean, the characters were cool, but the movie was trash.
Horrible. God.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you.
And Man of Steel, I would rather watch Man of Steel more than I like Man of Steel. I thought Man of Steel.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at Man of Steel.
I mean, like I do think there was room for improvement, but I still liked it as a movie.
Yeah.
I probably
final thoughts. Final thoughts.
Oh, okay. Look, I think we need to get to the point where we cannot have high expectations with DC movies. If you're a true comic book fan, you'll be like me and you will give them a shot, but you have to keep those expectations low. I don't care what the character, I don't care if it's Batman, I don't care if it's Superman, if it's the same brain trust that's been behind these movies, the biggest issue that they have outside of their own personal issues is the expectations we put on them. They're not Marvel. They're not even their animated division. They get beat by their own animated side. So it's kind of like we have to lower expectations and, just approach these movies for what they are. Like, I never expected this movie to be huge. Like at all. So
really? Wow.
For me, while you might have gave it an 8.5 or whatever, I gave it like a 7. But I'm not mad at people that say it's a 6.
Man, you must have been in a real. See, you gave it a 7 because it was Christmas Day. You were in a good mood, and you gave it an extra point or 2 for Christmas.
Nah, I gave it a 7, and I could be talked into a 6. Don't get me wrong, but I gave it a 7 because I knew what it was trying to do, and to me, the movie was just fine. But again, that's because of my expectations. If I had higher expectations and I thought it was going to be better, I would have made it like a 6. But to me, this movie was just it was what it was. And to me, it's average at best. I don't personally think it's trash. I think when I think of trash, I think of Fantastic Four. And that's like basically a movie that's not even complete. That's trash. Right above trash is Suicide Squad.
Right.
I'd watch
Suicide Squad was cool. When I think of trash, I think of Green Lantern.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah,
I gave Green Lantern a 5. I gave Green Lantern a 5.
Green
I like
Lantern,
this better. I gave it a 5.
Too.
Yeah.
That's trash.
Yeah.
But
Suicide Squad was legit.
No,
I like that movie, and I'm standing by it.
Damn.
Somebody was talking about Pedro Pascal as Max Lord was great. I mean, the dude's great in everything he does. That's kind of a given.
The acting is not the problem here. Kristen Wiig did fine. Pedro Pascal did fine with what they were working with. It's the writing.
That's what I'm saying. What they was working with was good enough for me. It was just a simple story, but it's just his expectations. Again, I went like Eman saw this. My final thoughts. Was that it, Eman? So
yeah, go for it.
Okay. So Eman saw this before me. He specifically told me Brandon Lawyer expectations as well as some other people. So I went in knowing not to think that it was better than the first one, and it wasn't.
I screwed you up. My bad.
It's all good. So I gave it an 8.5 initially. I will bring it down to an 8, and I am sticking with that because honestly, guys, I was not disappointed. I was satisfied when the credits hit. I got everything I wanted for the most part. I love the lasso of truth. I love the relationship she had with Steve Trevor. Even though the Cheetah thing didn't work out the best that it could have, I'll give y'all that, but I like what Maxwell Lord did, and I was like, man, I'm really interested in seeing how his plan is going to play out. E-Man said it was kind of a cop-out with the lasso of truth thing, but it made sense technically to me. Of course, this is not the best movie in the DCU. I would rather watch Aquaman over this. Shazam, of course, the first Wonder Woman. Aquaman is one of my favorite movies.
Really?
Period. Like, I mean, no. One of the reasons why is because a lot of it was shot with IMAX cameras, and so when you watch it at home on a 4K TV, it just looks beautiful. I had some problems with it the first time I watched it, but the second time, I loved the film. It's one of my favorites.
I can watch beautiful footage all day, but it doesn't mean I want to watch the movie. I forgot the name of that movie that Tom Hanks just put. What was that movie that Tom Hanks just put out with the war movie about the dudes in the boats?
That movie. Don't nobody remember the name?
Yeah, the one that it was another one of those movies that was shot on the IMAX. That movie was beautifully shot.
It was
just terrible. Just
the latest movie. I liked it, man. What is it called?
Wasn't a good movie.
What is it?
You need more than just the visuals sometimes.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I am a photographer and a cinematographer. That's what I do.
Yes,
I mean, that is what I do. And I love watching beautifully shot movies. 1917, one of the best looking movies I have seen.
Best
beautiful.
But
that was also a good movie.
1917, and it was also a good movie.
Right.
So
shout out to
there's a difference between just having a good movie and see that day.
Nobody watched Greyhound.
It was good to me though. I like it. It wasn't like horrible. It was straight. It was good.
But for Tom Hanks, that ain't Tom Hanks quality, man.
Nah.
That was I gotta pay my rent real quick type of movie.
Yeah.
He was behind. He had to make a quick payment.
Okay.
And you know what's funny? Because when they were talking about that, he was saying, "Oh, I'm sort of disappointed. It's going straight to Apple Plus instead of the theaters." Yada yada yada. That seemed like he was supposed to say that. Really, what he was probably thinking is after they were watching the cut, they were probably like, "Thank God this is going straight to video because if it went to the theaters and flopped, this would be a hit to all of us."
And to be brutally honest, that's kind of what happened with Wonder Woman. Because a friend of mine who works, let's just say he works inside of the industry. He was there for the early testing and stuff. WB was not very confident in this movie. Yeah. So when I heard that they pushed it to HBO Max, I was like, this is actually a win-win because if this had gone to theaters and let's just say everybody was still disappointed and it just made way less than the first Wonder Woman, it's hard to come back from a box office failure. But when it's on streaming, the expectations are different. You know, the measurables, the factors that they judge it by are completely different. So yeah, we could all sit here and be like, Wonder Woman 84 was trash. We could say it was disappointing, but it's on streaming and there's no numbers to really gauge on it, Right. So it's a safer place for these type of movies that are probably not going to blow people's socks off to drop on streaming.
Well, see, that's what I was saying. I was earlier, last week when I was talking with Lamont, I was like, if this is WB's tentpole, I'm a little leery to see what else is coming down the pike with the rest of these movies that are going straight to streaming. They must really just not be good.
They better look at Joker too.
Yeah, they shouldn't make any more announcements until the new Justice League comes out in March, and see how people react to that.
I think they better off doing the standalone stuff because Joker right now is probably
boys and stuff out. That's the last thing they need is more Joker people out there.
I'm just saying, Joker was a successful movie.
It was.
It got the award recognition. It got the comic fan base out there. I want to say it made the $1 billion or whatever. Hey, if that's what
I'll tell you, I didn't like it because I didn't like the Joker in that movie. I like the Joker. Joker is one of my favorite villains. I didn't like him in this movie. He just came off as one of those little crying, whiny. He reminded me of like a Trump supporter. I didn't like it. And Joker has always been one of my favorite villains.
Based off of the Killing Joke, I liked it.
And I was gonna say the Killing Joke was the only DC animated film that I did not like.
Yeah, I think that comic is a comic that's better read versus being seen because it's more dramatic. It's not a lot of flair to it. It's more psychological. Yeah. If anything, it's really to show the weird connection between Batman and Joker. So,
God, who said that? Who said that? B. Avery. Come on, man. Come on. Better what Marvel's doing.
It was a good movie.
Over a couple Marvel movies. I'd put it over a couple of them.
Yeah. It was up there, man.
That's not
the only Marvel movie that's probably better than it is Captain Marvel. And that's about it.
Nah, man.
It's not better than Deadpool.
Well, we're gonna wrap it up there. We're gonna wrap it up there. But gentlemen, I do appreciate it. I always enjoy chopping it up with you guys. To all the 116 people out there, I appreciate you tuning in as well for all the comments, the super chats, the great discussion. If you like what anybody had to say, of course, subscribe to my channel, but you're going to also subscribe to Larry's channel right here at Today I Feel Like and Eman on my channel tab. And there's also links down in the description box below. And that is just my opinion. Like I said, subscribe to me. Go ahead and give me that thumbs up. Leave comments and all that good stuff, and share the video with your friends, your family, with everybody. And again, I just want to thank everyone so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget that my name is Brandon Keith Avery, and that's just my opinion. Peace out, guys. See y'all next time.
Peace.